Today, the eyes and ears of the 21st century are focused on new developments, new technologies, new emerging companies. We're on the scene to bring it to you as it happens.
We anchor from our new studios in Los Angeles and then go out all over America to get to the heart of the story.
I'm Bert Tenzer.
I'm Bella Shaw.
I'm Doug Llewellyn.
I'm William Shatner, and this is Heartbeat of America. Our show focuses on corporate America, its stories, its drama, its breakthroughs. We'll be going out today to report on an organization that is impacting our lives and shaping our future.
In the 20th century, William Shatner took us off on a voyage into the universe to experience what life is like on other planets. But now, here in the 21st century, he is back to explore what life is like right here on our own planet. Now, this is all part of a new series we call Keeping America Strong. And as you know, part of Keeping America Strong lies in helping Americans to live more quality lives by promoting their health and their beauty. And that, is no easy task, especially for those who are aging and as a result lose their facial muscles, their tone, their shape, and their strength. And the result, of course, is sagging skin and an increase in wrinkles and fine lines. And for many people, today's solution for that is cosmetic surgery. Well, our guest today has felt that Americans should have another option, and he is devoting himself to producing fitness products that are designed to promote health and beauty without requiring surgery. This is a fascinating story, and we are about to find out just how he goes about doing it. I think you're going to find this really amazing. His name is Dr. Jonas Cuna. He's the president and CEO of a company called KGH Medical, Inc., which is headquartered in Santa Monica, California. He is a graduate of the UCLA Medical School. Doctor, nice to have you with us.
Nice to be here. Thank you.
Let me ask you first off a little bit about some of the problems, because as I just pointed out, as people age, they have problems, and in California, that's really bad to have sagging skin on your face. What are the big problems?
Right. So as people get older, their muscles, and this includes the muscles in their face, become smaller, weaker, and lose their tone and shape in a process called muscle atrophy. So since the muscles of the face form the structural frame that supports the tissue and skin of the face, so sort of giving the face its shape, as these muscles deteriorate, people start to experience a drooping chin, sagging skin, sagging cheeks, an increase in wrinkles and fine lines. Actually, we have a computer rendering where I can maybe just briefly point this out to you.
This picture, and we'll do a little demonstration.
Yeah, and so again, this is a computer rendering just to show the main areas that are that are troublesome to people: the drooping chin, sagging cheeks, a loss of skin tone, and an increase in wrinkles. So many people try to combat this by undergoing facial surgery.
Right.
And unfortunately, the results of surgery vary. And sometimes may be unnatural. Sometimes, in extreme cases, they may even be disfiguring.
When they do facial surgery, the process of that, they're actually lifting the skin off the face, aren't they? Totally.
Well, yeah, that's one of the procedures where the skin gets really basically tightened. Right.
Right.
One of the issues there is also that the underlying muscles, the atrophy process is not stopped, and a lot of times surgery needs to be repeated at a later date. So that's obviously one of the problems there. Now, to remedy the atrophy process of the muscles in your arms and legs, for example, people go to the gym and work out with weights.
Right.
That's one way. Now, training and reversing the atrophy of the muscles in the face is much more difficult. And that is because the muscles of the face are actually extremely strong and very difficult to be trained. If you take, for example, the masseter, which is the large muscle at the angle of the jaw. And actually, we have another rendering in there. Maybe I can briefly point this out for people to see.
Let's show that.
So the masseter is the large muscle that's situated here by the angle of the jaw. The masseter is one of the...
Point that out again for me, please.
Yeah.
Okay.
The masseter is the large muscle that's situated by the angle of the jaw right here.
Okay. What are we looking at up above?
So basically, these are the muscles that are actually trained by the device that we've developed, the Facelifter. And they are the temporalis, the large muscle you see here, the masseter, the large muscle here by the angle of the jaw, the pterygoids, which are muscles that are deep to the masseter, you can't see them here, and the buccinator. So the whole side of your face, as you see it here, these muscles give the face its shape and structure.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, the masseter, like I said, is one of the strongest muscles in your body. It can produce several hundred pounds of pressure. So it does need a significant amount of resistance to be trained, toned, and shaped, ultimately. And you may wear...
And there is a way, then, that you can exercise your face muscles?
Yes, there is, yeah.
Other than, I've never heard anyone talk about that. You would assume it would be massaging them, maybe.
Right.
But you're right.
Yeah.
How do you exercise?
That's true. Well, as you may be aware, there are some products on the market currently that use an electric current, for example, to stimulate the facial muscles. The problem there is that if you pass a current into the muscle contracts in what we call an isometric contraction. So it's missing the isotonic component, and it does not contract in the same way as it would contract against a real resistance.
So the key here is, and this is what this is all about, you have come up with a device that helps people exercise the muscles in their face.
That's right. Yeah.
And if they do this on a regular basis, it really will help prevent the sagging lines in the cheek and all of this as they age.
Right, that's correct. So you're basically putting the muscles of the face back to the shape and form they were in the younger years of the user. Now, as the muscles, like I said, form the structure of your face,
right,
the overlying skin gets tightened as well. We also have to see that as you exercise a muscle, you're increasing its metabolic rate. And that means fat deposits under the skin get diminished, and the tissue and skin become tighter again. So these effects occur as you train a muscle. Blood flow increases to the face. The muscle gets stronger and gets back in shape.
Well, let me see what this device is that you've come up with.
Yeah.
Why don't you hand this to me and I'll show this. It really is, it comes right down to this. And this is what you call
the facelifter.
The facelifter.
That's correct.
Now, it looks pretty innocent and pretty simple here, but we're going to get a demonstration and show you actually what it is. Tell me what happens. How do you use this?
Okay, basically the facelifter, as you see in the back, it has...
You want to point, go right ahead.
It has these two specially engineered silicone resistance pads that provide the necessary resistance that the muscle needs to become stimulated and to work and to get toned. You see in the front here you have an adjusting mechanism. So basically you can adjust it to anybody's unique sized mouth. So men and women can use it with any different sized mouth. It's not a problem.
Okay, so it gets wider depending on how big your mouth is.
If you go the other way, it'll get smaller. Right. Hardly find someone with that size mouth, but still you. And the frame that you see is actually a polypropylene frame that holds the pads at the correct angle so they fit comfortably in the mouth and sit at the right spot where they're supposed to go, between the rear teeth of the user.
Okay.
Now, to exercise them, and actually I have another rendering that kind of shows that briefly. Yes. So as you can see, to exercise with the facelifter, what the user does, you hold it by the handle, place the silicone pads between the rear teeth, as you can see here, and then begin exercising by biting down on the pads slowly in a controlled motion until the muscles are maximally contracted. And this means all the structural muscles in your face are contracting at that point. Like we said, the temporalis, the masseter, the pterygoids, and the buccinator. You hold that position for about a second and then slowly let go. That is one repetition. You do about 10 to 40 of those, which takes the user anywhere from 2 to 4 minutes a day, and that's it. And then you're done.
Well, listen, it's nice to be able to look at these pictures, but we actually have Sarah here with us, who is a live model, so to speak, to demonstrate. Sarah Renmark, should I give this to you? You have yours over there? Sarah, why don't you, if the camera can get a nice shot of your lovely face, why don't you show us what this is like to actually try and use?
So you see she's placing it right now between her rear teeth.
Right.
And now if you turn aside to the camera a little bit, we can see as she's pressing down, she's now slowly compressing it, and the muscles of her face, the temporalis here, the masseter, pterygoids, and buccinator are contracting. She holds that position for a second and slowly lets go. And she's just going to do a few repetitions to illustrate the point.
Right.
Like I said, you do between 10 and 40 in a very slow, controlled motion like she's doing right now.
And how hard do you have to bite down? With full force?
Yeah, you're contracting pretty much with full force to really give the muscle the stimulus it needs to grow and basically to get the shape back that it had. And then, after she's done, all she does is take the facelift out, rinse it with water, and she's done. Nice thing is many people actually...
Did it hurt? Did it hurt?
No, not at all.
It's just, you're working your jaw there. Do you feel pressure enough, when you're biting down hard enough?
Yeah, definitely. And surprisingly, you feel sore after the first time that you've used it.
I'm sure you are, because you're using muscles that you haven't used in a while, I guess. Mm-hmm. I'm sure. I was just thinking, unless you eat tough steak, you're right.
That's true. Actually, you do use those muscles daily when you chew, but not to this extent. And people have asked me this too. Well, how about if I chew, like you said, steak or hard chewing gum?
Right.
And you may notice if you chew a hard chewing gum for a while, you may get some fatigue and some soreness in the muscles of your face. But that's just a fraction of the result you have actually using this device, the facelifter. And that is, just to explain it, when you chew food or hard chewing gum, you compress it at its maximum about 2 millimeters. That's where it's hardest, where you really work the muscle. Once it's compressed down, there's no resistance against the direction of compression anymore.
Right.
Now with the facelifter, you're actually compressing over a distance of 12 millimeters. So 12 versus 2, which is a significant increase in distance that you compress. And then also, as you compress the pads and you tense your muscles, there's always a resistance against the direction of compression, and that is very important. So you do get a workout that is significantly larger than any hard food you can possibly chew. Another thing is to keep in mind, you chew food usually on one side. And that kind of brings your jaw out of balance. In the long run, if you chew very hard foods on one side, it's not that good for your joints. Here you're perfectly balanced because both pads have the same thickness.
Now again, this is called the Facelifter. I should point out again, I want to emphasize, you're a doctor.
That's correct. Yeah.
This is, you're a UCLA medical school graduate.
That's true.
And this is research that you've been conducting for quite a while that led you to the fact to really get behind this and to open a company to do this, produce this product.
Right, that's right.
Tell me a little bit about the experience you've had that led you to be convinced this could work.
Right. Well, the first idea generated very early while in medical school, doing dissections on the facial muscles. This is the stuff you do in medical school, and seeing the amount of atrophy that these muscles had undergone in elderly people. And then later on, also as a medical student, you're involved in observing facial surgeries and that kind of stuff, and part of the residency training as well. You're exposed to these things.
Right.
So you get a better idea of what the problem is, and then, the only thing that was logical then, well, how do you solve it? So the idea was born relatively early, but then realizing it happened over the last 2 years when I worked with other physicians, researchers, scientists, and other people in the healthcare business together to develop this device. So we started out, obviously, finding the right mechanism.